Hello, hello YouTube, and welcome to my channel. Uh, in this video, I would like to discuss the different types of activated charcoal, or at least the ones that I've used, and the differences between the different types of activated charcoal. And as always, this is not medical advice, so please check with your MD or alternative healing practitioner. So in a previous video I discussed activated charcoal, just the regular type of activated charcoal, and how it's useful for binding toxins and how it's useful for gas and bloating and for alcohol hangover. And if you have alcohol poisoning, it's very powerful remedy. And it's also useful for removing some toxins like some mold toxins and some heavy metals because it has a negative charge. And I discussed activated charcoal just for overall health and also um, the side effects of activated charcoal and how to use it so you don't have the uh, negative side effects. Now, activated coconut charcoal is the same, it does pretty much the same benefits or the same actions as the activated charcoal. But from my experience, as someone who used activated charcoal, and I've used different forms of activated charcoal, I've used the capsules, I've used activated charcoal that I get as a powder, and I use it in water. I find that activated coconut charcoal is much gentler on the body and it can be used a little bit longer. Activated charcoal in general is depleting and it should not be used for a long period of time. So sometimes I pulse it, I use it for a few days, and then I stop for a period of time, and then I use it again. It depends on, like I said in a previous video, if I have an intense Herx reaction, or if I'm killing too many germs or microbes or mold, and I wanna remove them out of, like detox them and remove them out of my body quickly, I would use activated charcoal. But generally, I don't use activated charcoal for long periods of time because it's very depleting. And sometimes the depletion itself can aggravate the chronic disease into mental and emotional aspects. And it can become intense physically, emotionally, and mentally. And that's when it gets uh, very kind of scary. So the activated coconut charcoal is much gentler, and I have two forms here. I have the powder form from this brand, and I also have this one. It's 280 milligram activated coconut charcoal, and it's already pre-made. This one, the one in the bottle. So, and I use it the same way. I use it when I have an intense feeling of toxicity and I feel like I'm killing too much and I need the toxins or the microbes to be bound very quickly. So I use coconut activated charcoal. So the differences between the regular activated charcoal and the coconut activated charcoal is when I use the regular activated charcoal, I feel depleted very quickly. When I use the coconut one, it takes some time before I feel depleted. Um, there is also a feeling of just like weakness with activated charcoal, the regular one, that I don't feel with coconut activated charcoal. So if I use activated charcoal for a long period of time, I tend to get fatigue and it becomes um, kind of chronic. Sometimes, not all the time. It depends on what is going on and what I'm using and everything else. But I become fatigued. But with coconut activated charcoal, I don't notice a lot of fatigue or weirdness as far as energy. It feels like I'm just taking a different supplement. So it doesn't affect energy levels that much, but with a regular activated charcoal, I do notice fatigue, and that's the depletion part. It starts to kick in after a while, and you start to feel depleted and fatigued. Um, and also, the regular activated charcoal, you can feel it in the stomach. For me, anyway, I can feel it like my stomach is being depleted. Um, even when you drink water, you feel like your stomach is just in a knot, or it's very dry. The feel constipation. But with the coconut, I don't experience that as much. There is definitely depletion, but it's not as intense as the regular activated charcoal. I also feel like the coconut activated charcoal uh, is just more gentle on the body as far as removing toxins. Sometimes when I use the regular activated charcoal, my brain fog doesn't kind of. I experience worse brain fog for whatever reason. But with the coconut one, I don't experience a lot of brain fog or just cognitive issues. I don't it moves, the coconut charcoal moves in the body without disturbing multiple systems, but the regular activated charcoal can disturb sometimes, especially if it's pulling toxins. It seems to, excuse me, it seems to disturb different areas of the body and make them more pronounced. So if you have brain fog, that becomes more pronounced, whereas the coconut charcoal, excuse me, with the activated coconut charcoal, it's more gentle. You don't experience a lot of side effects, and you don't notice it as much. You definitely notice the activated charcoal, but with the coconut one, it's more gentle, so you don't notice it as much. So I go back and forth between these two, but normally use the activated coconut charcoal. It's more expensive. Sometimes it's not like this one that is pre-made is not as expensive, but for the most part, the coconut charcoal is more expensive. So I go back and forth, but normally like 70% of the time or 80% I would use activated coconut charcoal before I use the activated charcoal. So just from my experience, coconut activated charcoal seem more gentle. It seems to move more easier on the body than the regular activated charcoal, and you don't notice it as much. And this is a relief for someone who has chronic illness like me, because I don't have to worry about the depletion and just another side effect. If I'm going through a healing crisis, I don't want to experience more side effects. I don't want to experience more healing crisis. I wanted to move quickly. So for with the coconut activated charcoal, it seems that it moves much smoother than with the activated charcoal. So if you have experience with these two types of activated charcoal, and I said activated charcoal way too many times in this video, sorry about that. But if you have experience with these two types of supplements, please put them down under the video so other people can view your experience and learn from your experience. And if you use something else also as a binder, please share it under the video. And I will have some other videos coming up about herbal binders, because that's an area where it's not discussed very much. But I have some herbs that I label them as binders because when I use them, they act, especially if you don't have like a very intense healing crisis, they act just like binders, and they actually remove toxins way better than just like using a huge amount of binders. So please share your experience if you use these two supplements or if you use one of them, and see you guys on the next video.